Okay, guys, when buying a property, you have to use a conveyancer or a lawyer, and they will buy certain reports on your behalf or recommend you buy them as well. So we've got Francesca from GP Legal. We're going to run through those reports this morning. Stay tuned.
Morning, everyone. Francesca, thank you for joining us.
Hi, how you going?
Really good. And yourself?
Good, thank you. Very good. It's Monday.
Monday morning, and we're kicking off with a hot topic.
Yes, we are talking about a hot topic today. We're going to help all the buyers out there today.
Yes, strata reports, building and pest,
Yep.
And everything in between. Where do we want to start?
Where do you want to start, Mark? Do you want to start talking about...
I'll start. Good morning to Ben. Ben just said g'day. Okay, so this, I guess we're sort of coming from the agent perspective. So a buyer comes through. Let's do a little unit first, because these guys are probably less prone to knowing what reports they need. So we'll start off with strata. So you see a unit for $600-700 grand. You don't have a lawyer. You get recommended by family, friends, real estate agent or broker to a lawyer, or you just use Francesca. And you ring up and say, hey, I've had my offer accepted on this unit. What do I do now, Francesca?
We want to get a strata report. That's the first thing I ask them when they give me a call and say, we bought it, we're looking at a unit, we really love it, we really want it, we're always excited to look at a new property. So we say to them, we want a strata report. Let's have a look and see what's going on within the complex. It's going to tell us how much the levies are, if there's any upcoming special levies, legal proceedings. That's a big one. That's a few of them we've seen lately, actually, that have legal issues going. So that can potentially cost the purchaser a little bit more in their levies. And, they really need to budget for those things as well, because you're buying the unit, you're paying the levy. There might be issues which raise the levies a little. Can they afford to do that? So it also tells us the 10-year forecast. That's something really important. The 10-year forecast will tell them how they maintain the building, what's coming up, what they're fixing, what they want to do in the coming year. So that's really important that they know what's going on. It gives them an idea on how the building's maintained.
So do you order the strata report, or does the buyer?
If they can't order it, or they're not sure where to go, we can order one for them. That's no problems at all. We can do that. It comes in, most of the time now the strata report will come in on a link pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And we just go through it with them and make sure they're happy with everything, make sure that they've budgeted for everything. No nasty. I had one not long ago where there was all sorts of legal issues. We looked into it further with the strata, and it came out that there were some major defects. So even though they walked through the unit, they loved it so much, they absolutely wanted it, but it turned out that it was pretty bad. So they were pretty disappointed. Too much money at the end. So to pay for the unit, those extra levies and upcoming levies was just going to be too hard for them. So that's why it's so important.
I've got a question for you. So it's important to do this once you sign the contract in the cooling off period, or do you do it?
Did you say once you sign the contract under a cooling off?
Is it normal to do it in the cooling off period, or do you do it before?
It is normal to do in the cooling off period. I find that in the northern beach, a lot of people do them anyway without a cooling off period. They'll go out. Sometimes they're provided with a strata report. An agent might have it already, and it's given. They'll come over and they say, "Can we have a quick look at this so we can, know what we're buying?" It's got the bylaws in there as well. So, the rules they need to live by while they're there. So you can do it during the cooling off, but if you do it before and there's no cooling off, you risk losing the property, and then you've lost a bit of money getting the strata report.
Yeah.
How much for a strata report?
I think they're about 250. 250.
Yeah.
But they're all doing these things now where you probably, Mark, as well, you pay $49. If you go with the property, you pay the remaining amount, or you're out of pocket $49.
Which is pretty cool. So, and I guess sometimes, you know how you said that Northern Beaches, they're starting to buy the reports before they've signing a contract. Not bad, because it's costing you $49 full stop.
Yes.
You're spending more on dinner. Whereas if you enter a cooling off period, it could cost you thousands. So, yeah, maybe it's a good idea to grab that strata earlier.
It's a great idea because it has all that information that you want to know in there. It's really, really good. We love going through strata reports. It tells you the minutes, what everyone's discussing in that complex, what everybody wants, what they don't want. It's really important. A strata report is a must.
Okay. After a strata report, what's the next report?
In a strata complex?
No, are there any other things that, so, you know, this young couple have come to you, young Johnny and his beautiful girlfriend are going to buy something, $600,000. They've called you. You've said, get the strata. They've got the strata. They're happy with the strata. Are there any other reports they need to do? Look at a contract.
We look at the contract. That happens straight away.
Yep.
They're all the legalities. That enables us to transfer the title legally, effectively. We go through all those reports. We go through the contract. A lot of the things in the contract are your special conditions. You've got your title search in there. It'll tell you how big the unit is, what you're getting. So you might be getting a garage, storage, a unit. So you want to make sure that's all marked. You know how big they are. And that's pretty much it. They get a lot of their information from their strata.
If you're reviewing a contract, say a buyer says, I like these 3 units, we all want to look at these 3 contracts, are you going to charge each time you look at the contract? Because I can't imagine lawyers just doing that all the time for free. What does that cost?
We don't. We don't charge for contract and report reviews at GP Legal.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
Yep.
That's good. So you want to be asked to
find the property for yourself, you know, and it's a bit daunting to think, oh, should we look at it? Not, we're going to get charged for it. They feel a lot better knowing that they can find their dream home and know they're not going to be, you know, charged $250 at a time if they're not sure. So we say all the time, send them over. You know, it'll take us an hour to have a chat, have a look at it, and then they're happy. You know, you don't want those extra costs. You've already got to pay for pest and building. You've already got to pay for strata. You're paying your 0.25% straight away. We've got to give them a break.
Lisa says, do you need a drink after having a look through them?
Do you need a what, sorry?
Do you need a drink, a big glass of wine whilst you go through them?
Probably. It just depends which one. The last one we looked at, we did. That went for a while. We had to really look into that strata report, but it was really good. It was really good. It's very important, guys. If you're getting a unit, get a strata report straight away.
You got to do it. Okay, and also while we're talking about reports before you buy, I guess in a way checking a contract's like you're reporting to the buyer, check on that check, the strata report, the strata manager's reporting to the buyer on that check. I guess it probably sounds silly, but you want to make sure that they've got the finance of the buyer. So they may require evaluation. Almost that's a way of a report, maybe, because you would ask, how do you know the buyer's got the money when they're buying something to say, look, you need to do evaluation. You need to
ask them straight away because we work with the brokers as well, so we liaise with them, so we know what their finances are. If they're going to have enough to complete the purchase, that's really important because once you exchange, that's it.
Yeah.
If you don't have the money,
that's true.
It's all over, right?
You know, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It happened before. I've had one many years ago where they couldn't complete. They had enough, and they have didn't. So it was pretty sad for them, but long time ago, there were other issues involved in it anyway. But the first thing is, do you have enough money? Can you complete the purchase?
Yeah.
Legal costs, courts, lodgement fees, penalty fees. So you've got all of these things. We give them a guide on what they're looking at, how much they're going to need, we liaise with their broker. We never exchange without an unconditional approval. I always tell them, off period, you'd rather lose a couple of thousand than $80,000.
Yeah.
Now, that's buying a unit. When you buy a unit, should you get a building inspection done on it, like a pest and building inspection on a unit that you're buying?
We don't ask them to get a building or pest. The strata report really does contain everything that's happening in there, all the defects in the complex. If there is water issues, mold issues, roof issues, everything generally comes up in the strata report. It tells you what you want to know.
And I guess Jeff's just mentioned you probably want to be checking if they got the cash for stamp duty.
Yes, definitely. And I'm finding now also putting that into their finance, so they're making sure that they have enough for their stamp duty as well. They'll give us a call when they're sending a strata report. They'll always tell us as well, we're borrowing this amount of money. Can you calculate how much stamp duty we're going to pay? Get on the calculator, calculate it, and that way they have everything they need. They sort of know where to go. No
surprises.
No, we don't want surprises. We want them to be happy. Buying a home is exciting. You see, your clients all the time. They go through a house and they look at it and they're like, wow, we love this place. We want it. We have to buy it. And then we say, you need a pest and building.
Absolutely. It's certainly an emotional roller coaster for everyone. And if you haven't done it lately, incredible. It reminds you. Now, buying a house, how is that different to buying a unit with your reports?
Okay, so when you're buying a house, you want a building report. Okay, so you want to know exactly what you're buying. A lot of people will go in, they'll look at it, they'll love it, they'll miss those bits and pieces. Majority of the things are cosmetic. Okay, so you might have a bump in the concrete outside, that's going to be noted. If there's a missing washer in the tap, that's going to be noted. It allows them to know what's wrong with everything in there and if they can budget for those things. They might look at the building report. A lot of clients have come back and said, we've looked at the building report and we're fine with it. There's a hinge missing from the door. There's a bit of a crack in the skirting boards, but that's fine. We'll just sand it back, fix it up, all done. So it's just important to you're buying.
How much does a building inspection cost?
Pest and building together, they're generally $450.
Okay,
a little bit more. Okay.
So but like we said before, it's better to spend that than lose thousands later.
Yeah.
They go through it. And do you organise that, or does the buyer organise that?
We can organise that for them as well. Whatever they need.
How long do these reports take? So, if I want a building inspection today, how long will it take before I've actually got the hardcore report?
It depends on the company that you're using. Some can take a couple of days, and look, they work with us as well. If they know that there's a cooling off that's going to expire, we let them know when that's going to happen, so they get it to us in time. Give us a chance to go through it with the purchaser, speak to the other side about it if there's any concerns. And it also gives the purchaser time to find out how much it's going to cost them to fix these things. So they might not think it's a big deal. They'll say, you know what, we really love this place. We want to be in there. Let's do it. We can fix all these things later.
Okay. And so $450 and it's a couple of days. Sorry, Billy.
I got a question for you. Sorry. If there's problems in either a strata report or building and pest, have you ever seen that negotiated in the final sale price?
Yes, we have. Absolutely. But you know what? If we all work together, the outcome is always great. So communicate with your agent as well. Let them know what you're doing. Keep them in the loop. We're in the loop. We know what their finances are like. We've gone through the contract gone through the strata report. The agent's not going to do that, but talk to them about it. So we spoke to our solicitors. This is what's come up. You know, do you think you could maybe help us with $500, $1,000, just so we can fix these bits and pieces because it's not within our budget? You know, some might say it's not a big deal. They don't care, and they want it. They just want property. So I think it's essential that everybody work together. We all communicate, because then everybody gets the perfect outcome.
Stunning.
Because, Billy, you brought up a really good point there. As a buyer, I would default to saying I'm not going to buy the property if there's something terrible in the strata or something terrible in the building. But I have seen buyers almost a bit predatory, where they've taken it as an opportunity to get a really, really good buy, because some people just don't understand building or just don't understand what's happening within the strata, and the property has to be discounted so much to get it over the line that a buyer sees that as a really good opportunity, because maybe like 3 or 5 years down the track, it's going to be a clean slate with the property, and they bought it for a bargain. Does that happen, Francesca?
We have quite a few clients that we've gone through building reports and pest reports, and some will say, do you think we could get a bit of money off it so we can fix it? They genuinely want to fix it. And then we go back and discuss it with the agent. Some things really are not a big deal. We always do talk to them and say to them, speak to the building inspector, get a realistic amount on how much it's going to cost you to fix these things. We do always remind them the vendor can say no. The vendor might have lived in that property for a really long time and lived with those issues and never had a problem. So he may say no. No, this is what you're buying. Buyer beware.
Yeah.
So it
might happen as well. So I think that's a show, and I think, Francesca, you've been one of the most amazing people we've had on the show, because you are so informative and so happy.
Thank you. We are happy at GP Legal. We love going to work on Monday morning. And
you are the best. You are the best.
So they need something.
Are you going to come on and do another?
Absolutely. We'll be doing another one in another hour. What do you want to talk about?
I love Jeff's comment here. The one-stop shop. Any concerns? It looks like you look after it all.
We do. We'd like to do that, and like I said before, you know how exciting for people to buy a home. You know, creating memories, starting a family. You don't want to go and do all the boring things. You want it to be exciting. Get the facts and make a decision.
And you are a gun for hire. So anyone who's looking for a great legal firm and an amazing person, Francesca can look after you. Google GP Legal. Francesca will be there on the other end of the phone. And if you're buying or selling, that's what you do.
Absolutely. And we're not charged to go through those contracts, guys. So
that's you. That is massive. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Billy, we got any more questions?
No. Thanks, Francesca. That was great.
Thanks, Billy. I'll get you to make me another coffee on Friday.
Someone's asked, are you single?
Very married.
Yeah.
That's
Jeff. That's opportunistic, Jeff.
Oh.
Billy,
you're the best. Billy?
Are you single, Billy?
Single and ready to mingle. I sure am.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good, Billy.
Yes, yeah.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
That's the show.
Well, I look forward to the next one.
Let's do the next one soon. And if anyone has any topics they want Francesca to cover, just message us or comment on here, and we'll get that topic covered by Francesca, the Legal Eagle topic, next time round. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Billy. Have a great day.
Cheers,
Amazing.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.